Welcome to the Finance Marketing Podcast, a show that empowers finance professionals to market their businesses in ways that feel good and actually achieve results. I'm your host, Hillary. I've been working with folks in financial services to develop marketing strategies that work and create results-oriented marketing content since 2020. And I've learned a lot about what works in finance marketing, what doesn't work, and where financial services pros get stuck. Join us each Friday as we explore real, effective ways to market your finance business and connect with folks who truly embody your ideal clients. Hey advisors, spring conference season is full on, and if you've missed the first few this year, that's okay. I've got a recap coming for you from some of the biggest advisor tech conferences in the industry, Nitrogen's Fearless Investing Summit and FutureProof Citywide. And to help me provide this recap, I brought on two of my conference besties, Natasha Mcpherson and Paige Haynes, who I actually met for the first time at Fearless in Denver in February, and they're going to help give us the rundown. So Natasha Mcpherson is a sought-after wealth manager based in Southern California. She's known for her philosophy that wealth accumulation means little if left vulnerable to taxation, market volatility, and life's unexpected challenges. She is a highly compelling speaker and financial educator whose insights have been featured by CBS News, Yahoo Finance, Fortune 500, and more. And Paige Haynes is the founder of WealthTech Concierge, a fractional sales consultancy where she helps wealth tech founders increase their distribution and helps advisors cut through the noise to find the right technology for their practice. So in this conversation with these two, we get into what made those two conferences worth attending, the AI conversation that dominated both events and what it means for how you should be positioning your value as an advisor, and maybe most importantly, how showing up in person creates relationship building and marketing opportunities that your online presence simply can't replicate, but can absolutely support. So whether you are a seasoned conference goer or someone who's been on the fence about investing the time and money into industry events, I think this conversation will give you a really fresh and inspiring perspective and hopefully get you out of the office and into a conference later this year. So without further ado, let's dive in. Natasha and Paige, I am so excited to sit down with both of you. We met a couple weeks ago at Nitrogen's Fearless Investing Summit, and so I'm excited to talk with the two of you about kind of the friendship that we formed and how that has led to so much good networking opportunities. No matter how online you are as a business owner, it's still so good to be able to show up in person and make connections. And then also just share some of the conversations that were happening in the hallways and in the sessions from both Fearless, and the two of you were just at FutureProof last week in Miami, or earlier this week, I suppose, that I want to hear about because I have major FOMO that I was not there.
We missed you, the conference trio.
Yeah, the conference trio. Do you want to start a little bit, Paige, and just maybe give some background around like how we met and what came out of that?
Yeah, so we all met 2 weeks ago at this point. We were at Nitrogen's Investing Summit conference, and we all came in solo, right? We didn't come in with a large team. And I know myself, there was a women's networking event that kicked it off, and I was just looking for, I don't know, someone to look across the room, go out to dinner with, kind of get to know, and just form a friendship was unexpected. That was honestly the last thing I thought was going to happen. But yeah, Hillary and I were at the same table together. And then Natasha, we just kind of kept seeing her, did a Tom Cruise impression. She was kind of sharing all of her background about her coaching and being an advisor herself. So I think immediately we were all drawn to each other that way. And then the first night out is when we all just started to kind of share about our own different businesses, how we could help each other, and just like what our goals were. And I feel like everything just took off from there.
Yeah, I felt like Fearless in particular was a conference that kind of had a packed schedule. Like they had stuff to do from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night. And so I feel like that also gave us like a really big opportunity to kind of form a friendship and navigate the conference together. What I really appreciated too is because we weren't all just solo, especially for Paige and I, because Paige and I serve advisors. Natasha, you are an advisor. I think there was some real value. And as we were like mingling with people and meeting people, of kind of introducing and selling each other a little bit and kind of like talking up each other's services and what we did, I felt like there was some real value in that.
Yeah, yeah. And I think Nitrogen is a different type of conference because it wasn't huge, but also wasn't like super small, but it was small enough that I feel like by the end of that, everybody was a community
Yeah.
and left at least knowing a little bit about each other. And since it was so packed, but it was also intimate at the same time, we were all kind of doing things together, which made us deepen our relationships, which you can't really get at other conferences. So I think
Yeah.
we were able to understand who people were and what they were doing on a different level than we usually would have.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You guys were just at FutureProof, which obviously was amazing in its own right, but how would you compare the two from that perspective in a way? Like,
Which,
how are
by
they
the
different?
way, you were there. Me and Paige made sure to tell everybody about you and your podcast. So you were there. You were there.
Wow, you guys are the best.
Yeah, we said we were missing our partner.
But I think that's we got so used to when we were at Nitrogen in learning what we all do well, and that's all very different things. But it was so hard not to kind of bring that to the next conference. And I think that's really the best marketing you can have is when other friends and peers you have are kind of selling and promoting you when you're in the room and when you're not in the room or on
Yeah.
the beach for this future proof example. But it was great. I know there'd be certain people that would come up and they'd say, Natasha told me to talk to you. I'm like, you're a stranger. How do you know who I am? Right.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that's such a great part in like supporting each other and supporting women that I think it's just everyone should be taking advantage of.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know that at Fearless, I mean, Fearless is a tech conference for advisors. And so a lot of the conversation was around how advisors can use AI. Is AI going to replace advisors? I think the general consensus that at least I got in the hallways and in the sessions was that no, AI is not going to replace advisors, but it's going to make them more efficient and it's going to make them more effective and allow them to like spend more time on the human parts of their job that their clients appreciate so much. What was the vibe at FutureProof?
It was the same. It was
Mhm.
AI. It was AI tech. One
Mhm.
of the cool things that they taught us was how to use AI to build softwares for ourselves within our firms, AI assistants, and general consensus was almost the same using AI within the practice and in investment management. I think AI is great for supplemental, but I wouldn't lean my whole practice
Mhm.
on it. But I would think some things are good supplementally.
Yeah. Natasha, as an advisor yourself, how are you sitting in this kind of tension between everyone who's saying advisors are going to be replaced by AI versus everyone who's saying, no, finances are inherently vulnerable and human and we need humans. Where do you fall on that kind of spectrum?
Yeah, I don't. I listen enough, but I don't let it take over my life. I
Mm.
keep doing what I'm doing until something comes up and it's a roadblock, and then I'm thinking, okay, maybe we could have AI do this. But I think for my clients, one of the reasons they come with us is because it's so customized
Mhm.
and they want to know that someone is actually actively managing their money and their financial ecosystem. So when it comes to investment management or planning, I have implemented no AI whatsoever.
Mhm.
But I think, maybe having AI answer the phone because I can't always answer the phone or our firm can't, some stuff like that. But
Right.
I wouldn't pay if I was telling another advisor, I would say I wouldn't pay attention to it with running your practice, but supplementing, maybe bringing in clients or making it more efficient to feel for clients to feel like you're more reachable.
Paige, what are your thoughts? I mean, you're very much in the tech space and I should have started us with that. So Natasha, you're an advisor. Paige, tell us a little bit about what you do as well.
Yeah, so I just launched my company in January. So I'm a fractional sales partner for wealth management technology. So a lot of these companies are 30 and under and just need help growing distribution. And I've actually got a lot of feedback this past conference that advisors are also looking for a lot of help to cut through the noise, and just get like a short list of tech that they feel is being honest and is advisor first. So yeah, I think that's just another evolution of WealthTech Concierge that I think is growing after this past week.
Yeah. So, tell me a little bit about like how you see the role of AI working with advisors, and supporting advisors without replacing advisors.
Yeah, I would say none of the founders that I'm working with, their pitch isn't AI over advisor, right? It's like
Hmm.
AI to enhance the relationship, to allow them to build trust, and even to take away some of those like admin tasks that this doesn't energize them. I think everyone's in for that and how to help them scale on things that are revenue producing and things they enjoy. And that probably when they first envision themselves as an advisor, it allows them to do that versus maybe how the role and duties and tasks kind of bring a lot of their time throughout the week. So yeah, I don't think there's a single founder out there that's trying to take over that concept or that
Yeah,
capability. No one's taking over Natasha's skill set.
right.
We don't think that's happening.
I definitely don't think that's happening.
I don't know. One thing I thought
Um,
that was great from Nitrogen, Aaron Klein said the relationship is the product. And like that's
mhm.
the product
Yeah.
that cannot be
Yeah.
replaced by AI.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why robo advising failed.
Mhm.
Ultimately, people want someone that they can call, reach out to, text when, the SHIT hits the fan.
Yeah. I've been kind of thinking about this notion that the AI output is only as good as the AI input. I mean, so as a marketer, I'm very much in this conversation too of like, oh, am I going to be replaced by AI in a year or 5 years or whatever? And then I look at the marketing that's happening online and seeing how ineffective a lot of it is when it's clearly like so over reliant on AI. And I think that's because, you know, you don't know what you don't know with AI. And I have to think that's the same thing with finances, right? You don't know what you don't know, and AI may not know to ask you the right questions or to know the right nuances of you. Only an advisor like Natasha is going to think about these kind of peripheral things that affect your finances and that's going to affect your financial plan. Would you agree with that or no?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
Paige, you said something else that I think is worth circling back to. After your experience at FutureProof, you've kind of even learned more about what makes you valuable in this space and like what people really need and that kind of thing. And I think that's another really great thing about conferences is so many of us work virtually now and work at home in our desks, and we can get siloed into what we think is valuable, what we think the problems are. Natasha, as an advisor, it's like what you think is the most important things for your clients, but then coming together in these in-person spaces, it's such a great opportunity to get out of your own silo and do whether it's market research or get ideas from peers about what you could be doing. Can one or both of you talk to me about that a little bit?
I'll give a short explanation, but I mean, I love being in person. I thrive. That conference circuit, it's energizing for me, even though I
Mhm.
don't have much of a voice right now. But it was incredible. I got feedback from founders on how I should price my services. Someone even told me I should price it more and price it differently, and that's great. I talked to folks who are in a similar role to myself, and we talked about different partnership opportunities and what maybe I do well in, but limitations and vice versa. I don't know. I just feel like it gets you to be thinking differently. You can kind of practice your relevance. Just get feedback is, hey, is my clarity there? Am I making sense? Maybe what are some folks doing in this space that I should start thinking differently about? Oh, I just think there's so much value you can get by taking yourself out of the normal day to day. I think it's healthy to do that too. Like networking is so important. So just not taking any conversation as, oh, this person's not worth my time this second, or they can't make me money in this moment. That's really not the positive way to go about it, because you
Mhm.
never know who can get you somewhere and how you can help someone else. So yeah, that's my thought on it.
I
Yeah, I
love
agree with Paige. I mean, especially when she says, maybe I can't work with this person right now or they're not making me money. I think conferences should be about building relationships, at least for advisors. Like, you guys know my phrase, it's not that serious and it's not that deep. um, like, you don't have to take yourself so seriously at these conferences. Just be yourself and connect. But when you connect with somebody, you'll be able to learn about their process and procedures. That's huge as being an advisor, but also understanding what they're doing to be efficient in investment management or financial planning, how they're marketing, how their pay structure is, even for their assistants. And so those are the things that I like to go to the conferences and connect with other advisors about, believe it or not. But also it's good to see the technology drops or the updates that are coming out with some of the software that we use, but also you get to meet the people that are running the software and the salespeople that you're talking to and the customer service. So when you call in, you don't have to say, "Hey, it's Natasha from Hall Wealth Management." I'm like, "Hey, Bobby, what's going on? You know who it is." and that just makes it so much easier to run the practice when there's an issue, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. So we were at Fearless together. Obviously, I wasn't at FutureProof. Can you guys each think about, like, what was the biggest takeaway or even the best session, whether it was main stage or like small room breakout session that you went to at each conference?
For me, I'm going to say for both Nitrogen and FutureProof, it was Derek Kinney.
I love that you said that. You know how big of a Derek Kinney fan I am.
So am I. But but the thing about it is, I only could see like a portion of Derek at Nitrogen because he was sold out. People were on the floor. You couldn't get into the room. So then FutureProof, I was like, okay, I have to be the first one there. Got a front row. And I mean, it's just, if you're an advisor or you're somebody who's trying to be clear on what you're doing within your practice, I mean, his insights are incredible.
Yeah, his framework about how to introduce yourself and explain what you do in a way that people immediately resonate with, I think, like, can't really be beat. So I would agree. He's one of my favorite speakers of all time. I've seen him speak twice. He's the best.
But you know who was good too? I think, what's his name? Josh Brown. He was. He founded FutureProof, but I found out at FutureProof that he also was part of finding Nitrogen.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know how true that is, but someone said that at FutureProof. But I love the fact that he got on stage at Nitrogen in Denver in 16 degrees, I think, in like flip-flops, jeans, and sunglasses hanging on his vest, talking about how AI is just, quite frankly, a fad, but just to bring that confidence and that energy, but also to quiet the noise on AI. I think that was fabulous too.
I agree. That was my first time seeing Josh Brown speak. And I mean, I loved every second of it. I remember during his main stage talk at Nitrogen, you and I were sitting next to each other, Natasha, and we were both kind of like, is this guy really up there? Just like with his sunglasses hanging off. He's like in a sweatshirt kind of thing. And I loved it. I thought he was so good. Obviously, he's one of the biggest names in the industry. So.
But it was so good, I think, because he was being himself.
Yeah.
People want real.
Yeah, you have to be yourself. Like, I could look, we were seeing guys in suits all day, but we remember him because he was in 16 degrees in flip-flops, jeans, and sunglasses hanging on his vest. That was ready. So cool.
He was ready for Miami at that point. He was like, I'm in Denver, but like, I want to be in Miami already.
Yeah. But it's just a thing that you're so memorable when you're just being your authentic self. And I think that's so important in this industry. And that's what clients seek and look for. Not what you think they want, but who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Paige, what about you? What were your favorite takeaways from both conferences?
I think they were definitely some home runs there. Trying to think more about like FutureProof to bring it. I mean, not much of the main speakers were, of course, incredible, but I loved the breakthrough meetings that they had. That's really what got me so bought into going to the Huntington Beach one already. And I know, like I said, I didn't fully purchase it yet, but I will by the end of the week. I feel like those interactions and that like speed networking to me was like well worth those, almost like the coffee corner conversations, enough to get people excited, to learn about them enough, and to see if it's valuable interaction for you guys to keep them in their network. So I have to give those meetings a shout out for FutureProof.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like the speed dating, that looked so fun.
It's great, especially if you play it right and you're on point with how you're scheduling, because you have to schedule those breakthroughs in advance. Mm-hmm. So if anyone's thinking about going, I say you really have to pay attention and be strategic about who you're scheduling. Do not leave it up to AI to schedule it for you. Yeah. You need to be strategic.
Okay.
Yeah. You can say like you're very interested in meeting with someone, and then you can look at their profile. So definitely some homework ahead of time, but well worth it. I invested a lot of time there.
Okay. So Paige, you said you're going to Huntington Beach FutureProof later this fall. Natasha, you sadly will not be there because of the US Open. What other conferences are on your radars?
The Next Nitrogen.
Ooh, yeah. The Next Nitrogen in Palm Springs, right? Isn't it in Palm Springs?
I think it's in Palm Springs.
I think they said that's what they're toying with.
Gotcha. Okay. What about you, Paige?
I have to add some more. I just found about FinTech is Fem. It's one in April. Ooh. Gonna try that out. Allie, Natasha actually recommended that. So gonna look into that. I'm going to Wealth Management Edge. That's in Florida. I need to add more to my docket. So anyone, if they have a can't miss conference, I'm trying to keep my track record up of one per month. But we'll see.
Going. Oh, sorry, Paige. Sorry to talk over you. Someone just texted me. There's one next week called Exchange in Las Vegas, or in 2 weeks or something. I've never heard of that one.
Okay.
We'll have to look into that. Yeah. I am going to XYPN Live in San Diego at the end of September, so
potentially see you there.
See you there.
Back together.
The trio is going to get back together this fall at least once.
Yeah, that's our biggest goal of the year.
Yeah. Okay, ladies. Well, this has been really great. If people want to learn more about you or connect with either of you, where are the best places to do that? Paige, you go first.
Sure. My LinkedIn or my website is wealthtechconcierge.com.
Natasha.
For me, Natasha Mcpherson on LinkedIn. You can email me, natasha.mcpherson@lpl.com. You could text me, 949-222-6402. And my website is hwmg-lpl.com.
Natasha just dropped those digits.
That's why I'm so famous.
Well, ladies, this has been such a delight. Thank you for coming on and giving me a little peek behind the curtain into FutureProof. I can't wait to see you guys in a couple months at the next conference, and we will have to do this again.
Thanks for having us.
Right. Thanks for having us. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Finance Marketing Podcast. If you're eager to market your business in a way that feels good and actually gets results, sign up for the Finance Marketing Podcast newsletter in the show notes so you never miss another episode. If you liked what you heard today, please be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite listening app and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll see you back here next Friday.